So, Bo, we need to talk about King Charles. Old Charlie boy.
Mm.
We need to talk about King Charles, right? Is he abdicating the throne? That's the rumor. It's hot off the press. It's hot off the press. Now, the likelihood, no, he's probably not abdicating the throne. That is the rumor that's doing the rounds. So yes, the title of this video, a little bit clickbaity, guys, a little bit clickbaity, but it's interesting, and I think we need to talk about why it would be good if he did abdicate the throne. Quite frankly, actually, so the long and short of it is King Charles is addressing the nation the week coming. So at the time of recording this, it is Sunday the 10th. It will go out and it will be the week of his addressing the nation. Now he's addressing the nation for Japan surrendering the war, isn't he? Supposedly that's the statement that's going around anyway. But people have took that as a sign that he's abdicating the throne, primarily because he's got cancer. He's got cancer, which is obviously not good. I can't imagine that's great to have. Not awesome. His health's not brilliant, but what else isn't brilliant is his approval rating. It's pretty bad, actually. It's pretty damn bad. So according to these statistics that I could pull up anyway, he has a 61% positive, but a 34% negative opinion. 34%. It's pretty bad. That's a pretty bad approval rating, especially when you go from old Queenie. Queenie was near universally loved. And why is he so hated? Well, he capitulates to Islam. He effectively, what looks like he's actually converted to Islam. That's another rumor that's going around, which I would genuinely believe, actually. The amount of nonsense he spews out of the Quran constantly, inviting Muslims to break bread with him and all this, in palaces. Windsor Palace, wasn't it? I think. Pretty certain it was Windsor Palace. I mean, this is the awful stuff. Like, he's supposed to be the leader of the faith, the church, not churches, not faiths. It's supposed to be one thing. So I actually think it'd be a really good idea if he did abdicate the throne, because he's waded into politics way too much for what the royals are supposed to do. They are supposed to be just neutral, or at least they can have their own politics, but we're not supposed to know about it. And he's just allowed an authoritarian government to continually seize power, more and more power, overreaching. If he was a true monarch, a true leader, a true king, he would see his subjects being raped weekly by foreign invaders and go, yeah, no, we should actually sort this out. This is disgraceful. This is disgusting. But he's a leftard with his fat, chubby sausage fingers, and he's awful. He's a scumbag. Actually, I really have no pleasantries to say about him at all. I think that he should abdicate the throne. I don't think, if ever there was a time, because as a nation, we always sort of flip-flop backwards and forwards, don't we? There's always a conversation. Oh, the royals, they're good. Oh, they're bad. Oh, they're good for tourism. Oh, they're bad. And tends to be a conversation which sort of rolls around every so often. With him in control, my God, that conversation's not going very well, is it? It's not a good one. No, he should be gone. And the royals should be gone, because they're not serving a purpose. They're supposed to be the buck stop for an authoritarian government, right? They're supposed to be the linchpin behind a government not being able to completely rule and do heinous things to the citizens. They're supposed to be there to go, oh, actually, no, I can seize power now. I can actually stop this. Yeah, no, we could not, royal assent, we could not sign this. We could not do this. No, I'm not happy with this, because it is the government of the king. So, yeah, I don't know. Not happy overall. Should he abdicate? Yes. But would his replacement be any good? Probably not either. That's the take. That's it. I want to hear your thoughts.
Well, although I consider myself an ultra patriot, sort of an ultra nationalist, I love my country. I fucking hate King Charles. He's such a prick. He's an idiot. Right. First of all, he's an idiot. Like literally a stupid person. Right. You might, on paper, you might notice, oh, he did go to Oxford. Yeah, because they just let, if you're the Prince of Wales, they just let you go there. Yeah. He's not clever.
Yeah, of course.
You're not clever. So, right, first of all, he's stupid. Second of all, he's so woke. It's disgusting. He's that type of boomer. And before I go on, I just want to say a quick word. Some boomers are really based, and whenever we throw shade at boomers, you quite often get a comment saying, "Not all boomers. I'm a boomer, and I'm not woke." So that's fair. That's fair. But we all know what we're talking about with the type of sort of ultra liberal boomer. Well, he's one of those, like to the point of it not making sense, to the point where it's just an embarrassment. Like so there's that, and he has always been. Oh God, I hate him on so many levels. And then you throw on top of everything else the bloody Islam thing, the endless capitulation, the endless bending over for Islam. Like, why? If anyone in the country is sort of obliged to not do that, it's the monarch. He's head of the Church of England. Yeah, to invite Muslims to Windsor Castle to do their celebration stuff and to endlessly be pandering to them. Yeah. Okay. So I hate the guy. I would love it if he abdicated and then quite swiftly died. Fuck him. Now, but the institution of monarchy is something else, though. Okay, so I'm actually a lukewarm monarchist. I think that the institution of monarchy has served us extremely well, actually, in the balance over the centuries. Served us extremely well. But I could talk for hours, honestly, do lectures for hours and hours and hours, and in fact have done on epochs of the Lotus Eaters, talking about the monarchy and various kings and things. So there's two ways. You can't have it both ways, though. You can either have a monarch who is sort of apolitical, keeps themselves to themselves, as Queen Elizabeth II is a perfect example of it. Very, very, very deliberately stayed out of all party politics. You very, very rarely even got an inkling of what she thought about the issues of the day. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. And that only really works if you do it as hard as she did it, i.e. almost 100%. Okay, but then you're open to the criticism if you do that, which King Charles isn't. But if you do that, you are then open to the criticism of you're just allowing, like it was on Queen Elizabeth's watch that we were largely invaded. Right, it was on Queen Elizabeth's watch that Tony Blair got away with completely subverting the nation. Okay, so you can either do it the way she did it, or you can have a king or monarch, queen, who does get involved, and as you mentioned, as you said, something like being the last backstop, being like, wait, this government is terrible, is corrupt, or whatever. It's not acting in the interests of the people and the crown. So I'm going to dissolve Parliament, something like King Charles I, something like Charles Stuart. I'm going to actually dissolve Parliament, and I'm going to ask for a new government. Okay, so, but you can't be like Queen Elizabeth II and like that, right? One or the other. Now, we haven't had kings do anything like that, well, since the Stuarts. So since the 17th century, really. I mean, even if you go back to the age of Queen Victoria, when Queen Victoria was young, so we're talking the first half of the 19th century, she tried to, like, ever so slightly dip her toe into party politics and say to her prime minister, oh, I don't like that. I don't like what's going on here. Can't we do something? And Parliament, in various ways, said, shut your mouth. You shut your mouth and you stay in your palace and you leave it to us. And she like flustered a bit, like, and like in the papers there was like a little bit of talk of like a constitutional crisis and stuff, and it was nothing really. But the point is, the monarch these days hasn't really got any power. For example, if Charles did go to Starmer and say, "I want you to form a new government," Starmer doesn't have to do shit. He can laugh in Charles's face and say, "No. In fact, I'm just going to write you a speech now saying how much you love my government, and you've got to read it out." Like, that's how little power the monarch has got these days. Okay, so having said all of that, I would love it if he abdicated, because I consider him a traitor king. I really do. But as you mentioned right at the end of when you were speaking just then, would the next one be any good? Like William? Would William be any good? I mean, the small bits and bobs you get from him, he seems to be kind of woke as well, like hand wringing about India and the empire and stuff, like the odd little glimpses you get of where his headspace is. It's no better. He's certainly not super based. Right.
Yeah.
So would that be any better? And you also mentioned the idea of just getting rid of the monarchy entirely. Well, as I said, I'm a lukewarm monarchist. If it's at all possible to not do that, I would rather do that. But if we have to, so be it. I'm not personally, this is just my personal opinion now. If we had to get rid of the monarchy because they were hell-bent on destroying us in some way, then yeah, fine. Do it. I just hate lefty traitors that like it's a real commie thing, right? Essentially, it's a commie socialist thing to despise the monarchy in and of itself, and always want a republic. That's the sort of thing that like Darwinists like and want. So anyway, it's a complicated thing. If anyone's watching this who's American or just foreign, who hasn't grown up in the institution of the British monarchy, it's sometimes hard to get your head around, and the way people in Britain feel about it, and that it's your head of state, the head of your church. You're supposed to be extremely patriotic, but also there's a long and glorious tradition of hating the king or queen. We're just lucky that we grew our entire lives up until recently, right? Well, we grew up under Queen Elizabeth, who was, as you say, almost roundly loved, despite a few times I've called her Elizabeth the Absent, because she said so little. She allowed some travesties to happen and just didn't say anything. I'm not sure there's all that much she could have done. Yeah, so I hope Charles does abdicate. I'd love to see the back of him. I hate the man. He's really smug and obnoxious as well. And he's really haughty, right? Behind closed doors, or when people talk about what he's really like butlers and things and stuff, he's not like this humble person. He's really, really arrogant and haughty, and was really good friends with Jimmy Savile, and he's just a twat. Yeah, pretty much basically everything he says and does, I'm like, oh, really? You're saying that now? You're doing that now? You're acting like this now? Really? Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I feel you. I wish though, and not that I'm advocating for this, anyone watching, of course, but good Lord, wouldn't it be great if someone came into power within the monarch, in the institution of the monarchy, and was just like, my loyal subjects, I can't do anything, but you can. Wouldn't it be such a shame if you all rose up? God.
Well, in pure fantasy realm, right? The monarch is a colonel in the army. You're by definition something like there's like you're a colonel in one of the household cavalry divisions or something or other. On paper, you've got like quite a few soldiers that they're literally under your command. So if you ordered them to march on Parliament or something, they probably would. They probably would if you had a king that was sort of not just ballsy, but sort of a bit crazy. But yeah, in a fantasy realm, that would be cool. That would be cool.
Nothing crazy about that at all. It's treason. Some of the things that have happened here. It's treason. A ballsy king or queen could rightly accuse the government of treason, acts of treason, and act accordingly. And I'd be there for it. Not going to lie, I would be there. Not that I'm advocating it. Not that I'm advocating for it. All right. Not that I'm advocating for it, but I'll be there for it. I'm not advocating for it.
In the Minecraft server, I'm right there. I'm totally with them.
In my Civ 3 server, yeah, I'm there.